Multiplying all of these numbers together gives us how many unique ways 52 cards can be arranged. 52 factorial is a gigantic amount. So large, in fact, every time you shuffle a deck of cards well, smoosh it for a few minutes or riffle it 7 or more times, chances are you have put those playing cards into an order that they have never been in the entire history of cards, or humans, or the universe. Seriously. This is because 52 factorial is 8.0658 times 10 to the 67th. In comparison, the observable universe is only about 10 to the 18th seconds old. Even if you had been properly shuffling a deck every single second since the universe began 13.7 billion years ago, you still, to this day, wouldn't have even come close to assembling every arrangement possible. But even that doesn't paint the whole picture of just how big 52 factorial is. Scott Cheepiel wrote what, in my opinion, are some of the most mind-boggling visualizations of the size of 52 factorial. Imagine setting a timer to count down 52 factorial seconds. While the timer runs, stand on the equator and wait 1 billion years. After 1 billion years have passed, take a single step forward, and then wait another 1 billion years before taking a second step, and so on. Once you have walked all the way around the Earth, take a single drop of water out of the Pacific Ocean, that's 0.05 of a milliliter, and set it aside. Now continue walking at a rate of 1 step every 1 billion years, removing 1 drop after every journey around the entire Earth, and by the time the Pacific Ocean is completely empty, put a single sheet of paper on the ground. Refill the ocean and keep going until the stack of paper reaches the sun. At that point, how many seconds will be left on the timer? Will it be 0, a few hundred, a few billion? No, there will still be 8 times 10 to the 67 seconds left. You have barely made a dent. If you start all over again and do that whole thing 1,000 more times, you will only be 1/3 of the way done. Luckily, Scott has a great idea for how to pass the rest of the time if you're bored of paper and water and walking. Instead, he says, deal yourself 5 cards every 1 billion years. When you finally deal yourself a royal flush, buy a lottery ticket. If the ticket wins the lottery, throw a single grain of sand into the Grand Canyon. As soon as the Grand Canyon is completely full of sand, remove 1 ounce of rock. That's about 28 grams from Mount Everest. By the time Mount Everest is leveled, take a look at the clock. This is what will be left. Do the whole royal flush, lottery ticket, Grand Canyon, Mount Everest thing 256 more times, and then, and only then, will your timer have reached 0.